Just a
All
minute.
right.
Okay.
All right. Very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone present here today. A very warm welcome to Old Passion Singapore, Malaysia Global. My name is Jeannie Tan, your host today. And Old Passion was formed in November 2020 and run by a group of dedicated host team members. We had our first trial webinar on the 23rd of September 2021, and our first public webinar was on the 30th of September 2021 under the mentorship of Dr. Bill Williams. We meet on every Thursday. The mission of Old Passion is to ignite passion for humanity and to nurture mindset and leadership for passion and Oblast, and also to form passion groups for good causes. And today we have our host member, Jeffrey Morlock, to be our speaker tonight. But
Hey.
before I call on Mr. Jeffrey Morlock, I would like Kumaran to play the next segment.
Ready?
We're ready.
Hallelujah.
We have a heart for those in need. We'll show the world a better way and we will lead. For the benefit of all, we work to bless each one with action of compassion till the work is done. With providing for each other helps us heal, and opening our hearts to bless will let us feel the beauty that exists in our souls is real and true, only brought about by love from me and you. We are one and we are blessed in unity. We are one and we are blessed as far as we can see. We are love and we will bless humanity, and we say unpassive is the way. We are one and we are blessed in unity. We are one and we are blessed as far as we can see. We are love and we will bless humanity, and we say unpassive is the way. Our hearts and minds are strong as we believe. The journey is the vision now to which we clear. Each and every day we see so very clear. Compassion frees the soul and helps to bring us near. We provide so much value that is fair. Humanity is lifted by the love we share, making love part of all the things we see, to bless the tie that binds us all eternally. We are one and we are blessed in unity. We are one and we are blessed as far as we can see. We are love and we will bless humanity, and we say unpassive is the way. We are one and we are blessed in unity. We are one and we are blessed as far as we can see. We are love and we will bless humanity, and we say unpassive is the way. We are love and we will bless humanity, and we say, ONPASSIVE is the way, and we say, ONPASSIVE is the way, and we say, ONPASSIVE is the way.
Wow. Fantastic. Well, for those of us who have heard it before, it's refreshing. And for those who have not heard it, it's worth it for all to come out. Love is everywhere. Wow, wow, wow. Wow. Praise the Lord.
Hey,
Ye-
while you're changing that, can I draw something else to your attention?
Yes,
There's another song on my channel, Kumram, that is called ONPASSIVE the Beautiful.
I
And
have that too.
the lyrics were written to America the Beautiful, which was actually translated, I think, from, well, it was a long time ago. I'm not exactly sure, but I think it originated somewhere in Britain or something. I'm not entirely sure. But that one is also a very nice song. It's just gentle, but it talks about ONPASSIVE. So that one's out there too, if anybody.
Yep, yep. Kumaran, you want to take over or I continue with the introduction? Kumaran,
You take over, Mabel.
I take over.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe what we can do is at the end, we can play the Beautiful People, the song, if I can find it. I know where it is. It's just putting it on the desktop. Okay.
That would be very appropriate considering I just started a Beautiful People series.
Okay. Yeah. Let me although Jeffrey Morlock does not need introduction, but yet it's always so nice for me just to say a couple of things about him. He endeavors to live the vision and the value as this leading edge movement ONPASSIVE changes the entire online affiliate marketing landscape as a smart business solution. This is how he loves ONPASSIVE, and this is what he says. My belief in the rightness and the solidity of this new tech leader is motivating, strong, and unyielding. Tonight, he's going to share with us this topic ONPASSIVE's data migration. Brother Jeffrey, the platform is yours. Thank you for blessing us again tonight.
Wonderful. Oh man, you guys are awesome. I'm telling you, you just got awesome sauce poured all over this platform, and I sure appreciate it. Mabel, a little bit ago, you were talking about, and you said something to the effect of, hey, we're in this for the long haul. Don't be pressing too hard because we've got a journey and it's a journey in front of us. And the illusion you were alluding to, it's going to take some time. That's why when you had contacted me the other day and said, hey, what do you want to talk about? I thought, let's talk about the actual process. Where are we? Why are we here? What is involved with it? How long is it going to take? Because we've been hearing this, and you've got these other voices out there all over the place saying, oh, it's going to happen. It's happening. Give us a week. Give us 2 weeks. Give us 3 weeks. We're moving. That's all good, but we need to really manage the expectation because what Mr. Mufara is doing is not by any means any small task. This is absolutely a phenomenal thing that's happening, and I really hope to be able to point that out. So I wanted to thank you for bringing that up, and to remind everybody that we did a Beautiful People series webinar yesterday with Renata, who just sang that song. And you know, if you're even a little bit emotional, you better grab a hanky, because you're going to be crying by the end of it. It was absolutely, or at least somewhere. So anyway, getting started. Thank you so much for having me here, allowing me to speak, and allowing me to come on to this platform and kind of just take it over a bit and just do what I do, because I kind of go off. A lot of times I'll go around my elbow trying to get to my thumb, and but I think eventually I get the point across. Well, I appreciate the leeway that you give me in doing this, and I thank all of you, Mabel and Jean. I mean, just all of you. You've got a great platform here, and you've got a lot of great support behind it, and you serve a great purpose for us. And in combination with all these other platforms, we really can bind and bond together in a united global family within ONPASSIVE. And we've all got a part to do, and I'm so grateful that you're doing that. Now, for our audience that may not know what we are, ONPASSIVE is an AI IT startup company, right? And it is about to embark. It's getting going on a very critical journey of migrating our data, its data, from one hosting service to another. Now, this is not an easy thing. It's a process that involves transferring literally every digital aspect of what we've got, right? All the original source codes, all the associated data that, you know, that's been a buzzword, source codes. Oh, we got all the source codes. Well, you know, what on earth is that, right? But all the digital data that we've got, everything, all of it, to ensure the continuity of our business operations once we've established a new home, so to speak, once we've established ourselves on new servers in different facilities and that sort of thing. So what exactly is data migration? When we say, oh, we're going to migrate our data, well, it sounds pretty neat, but, you know, what is it? Well, migrating data is simply when we move our data, all of our digital data, everything that comprises our company in digital form, from one computing environment to another computing environment or storage system. Okay, it's the whole process of moving from one place to another, everything that we have for the company that's digital, to put it that way. The whole process is very exacting, and it takes time, and I'll explain why. So that when you have people say, oh, it's going to happen in 3 weeks, kind of hold up the time out and go, wait, do you understand what's going on? Because it's likely not going to happen in 3 weeks. So companies move data like we're doing between hosting systems or servers. We've heard servers for lots of reasons. Could be technology changes, could be set up on the cloud. Maybe they'll just want to improve performance, reduce cost, maybe beef up their security. I mean, there are lots and lots of reasons. And I hope that I'll be able to point out the whole process takes time, but now having all of the source codes like Mr. Mufara talked about, and I mean, this is important, having all of these codes and all of our data ensures ONPASSIVE's autonomy, right? So that we can operate by ourselves, for ourselves, and we're not relying on anybody else. It ensures our flexibility so that we can do what we want, when we want, in the way we want, and it ensures our security, keeping us safe and keeping us on top of things. So this means, right, having this autonomy, flexibility, and security all means that we're able to modify and adapt our software to the new environment, the new hosting environment, the new servers, if you will. It lets us set up specific security measures and even compliance requirements. Yeah, we've got to do things according to regulation. So, you know, it allows us to do that. It helps us to make sure that we have data integrity and consistency, which I'll probably talk about in a minute. It helps us to reduce dependencies on third-party applications or vendors, and dependence, well, I'll talk about that too. And it helps us to incorporate or use or facilitate future updates, scaling, Mr. Mufar is big on that, and integration with new technologies. Now, having said all that, generally, the goal of data migration is to move data efficiently and quickly so that we avoid or at least minimize the disruption rather of business operations. Now, that's not necessarily the case with OnPassive. We know that. I mean, that ship sailed, right? OnPassive is moving its data because we met with some very unfortunate circumstances, huge challenges that Mr. Mufar's talked about that brought about a lot of roadblocks, as he mentioned, and it was brought about by intentional foul play within the company and from some things outside the company coming at us that crippled us. It crippled our business. It crippled us pretty severely and negatively, and it affected in very bad ways our ability to do business. But long story short, if we didn't have a CEO like Mr. Mufar, it could have been and would have been a whole lot worse, and we may have just flat out disappeared like some companies do. But regardless of the reason for the move, right, regardless of why we migrate the data migration is not a simple task. And even for small companies, it can take weeks. It includes a massive planning phase, and that brings it what I call in the planning phase, I'd say umbrella term, right? Considerations like network resources, data security, time and transfer methods. There's also a need for storage architecture, which has its own set of considerations. In other words, we need to take a look at the hardware that we're putting all this stuff in and consider things like our software or applications and programs scalability, its performance, the data protection, compatibility with hardwares and other systems, data tiering, right? Setting up the way that it should be, the storage type, whether we're going on the cloud or everything's on-prem or on premises, as the OTech pros say. We look at data compression or even data deduplication, getting rid of the extra stuff, the metadata management, storage networking, future proofing, so we can make sure that at any point we can add or take away, kind of plug and play stuff. There's tons of reasons. And by addressing all of these considerations, we at OnPassive, Mr. Mufar in particular, can ensure that we've got a successful migration, and it's going to meet all of the performance, security, and scalability requirements that he, Mr. Mufar, is considering a requirement. So why exactly is migration important? Well, for a little context, organizational data, it lives, it resides, it's stored in a lot of places, in physical places, right? It's on premises in servers or virtual servers. It's in single machines. It's in different applications. Now, this data is also stored in many different types of formats and different types of data. As a result, migration is important also for a lot of reasons, and organizations move all this data from one location or one device or application to another, right? And also that's done for a lot of reasons. For example, our data migration might be used to consolidate resources. It might be used for integrating data for analytics or reducing storage cost, centralizing our business for using new applications, archiving legacy data, which is, we don't want old data to have problems with new or emerging technologies in a way. We use data for different purposes and transfer data ownerships. We also need it for improving compliance with data handling regulation. Again, lots and lots of reasons why we may be doing this. But when we do this, although, we're sure to consider some of these as we get going, everything I just mentioned. But OnPassive has, in my opinion, more severe reasons for this migration. Everything I just named, those are kind of business as usual. We're migrating from this point to this point because we want to do X. In our case, in OnPassive's case, We're doing it, namely, to recover our business and to preserve our integrity and the integrity of the business. So to successfully migrate the data, we've got to have it all, right? And having access to all the original source codes and all the data is crucial for ONPASSIVE. Again, there's a lot of reasons for this, okay? There's business continuity. That's primary. We got to ensure that our business works, and we want to make sure that all of our applications and all of our services can be redeployed or rerun in a sense and operationally intact once we make this shift. We've also got to include data integrity in this. We have to make sure that the accuracy and consistency of our data during the migration process is protected so that we don't have any potential issues like data loss or corruption or errors in the data that's going to screw things up for us on the other end, right? So we use data integrity processes to make sure that our data is and stays accurate, consistent, and reliable throughout its entire life cycle. And this is especially important to maintain that integrity during the migration progress to make sure that our data stays usable and reliable. And again, there's a lot of ways of doing this, okay? There's data validation and cleansing. We've heard a little bit about data cleansing from Mr. Bufara, and this is done by migrating or through the migration process, rather by checking and assessing our data quality to identify inconsistencies, duplicates and errors, those sorts of things. It helps us to make sure that only accurate information is moved from one spot to another, right? From where we are to the end system. We also have tracking data related events, which are occurrences that affect the data that's being migrated. That's another way that we do integrity. These events, these data related events, are things like creating data, reading the data, modifying it or deleting it. These are occurrences that all affect the data that's being migrated. We got to pay attention to it and make sure the stream is viable, right? And there are more. There's data corruption and unintentional format change, stuff like that. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that these events can impact the data migration process as well and require adjustments and remapping or revalidation to ensure data integrity and accuracy in our target system, which is the system that we're moving to, the target system. There's also what we call a sign-off procedure with a sign-off document. Contextually, data integrity is important for helping organizations comply with data protection and privacy regulations. It also helps businesses to avoid a lot of costly issues like data recovery, system downtime, and other potential business disruptions, right? Now, the sign-off document that we're talking about has got checks and balances, so to speak, that are validated by multiple people, right? Multiple parties, to make sure that we don't have any violations in this migration process. So yeah, there is a regulatory migration process. I mean, there is a lot to this, believe it or not. We've also got security, which means that we're all about protecting the sensitive information from breaches or potential breaches, at least during the transfer or the process. We also want to ensure operational efficiency, which simply means that we want to make sure that moving our stuff from where we have it now or where it's stored now to where it's going to be running is done in such a way that it allows it all to arrive at the destination in one piece, so to speak. So it runs, right? And that's going to help us to keep any subsequent downtime to a bare minimum. And the bottom line is that there are a lot of steps and a lot of issues with migration, and it's going to take some time. Now, what are the steps? Well, there's 4 of them, actually. The first one is what we call planning and assessment. In this first phase, if you will, we do a review of all the source data by examining the existing data so we understand the structure and the attributes because we need to know that to know how it's going to fit with the new system. We also choose or find a new destination, right? That's the target system we want to go to. And in doing this, we choose a suitable destination or a storage solution, if you will, that's based on the amount and the complexity of our source data, which is considerable, which I'll get into later, right? Now, we also have to outline our migration strategy, making sure that it's regulatorily, that's a word, compliant. And it simply means that we are developing a detailed plan, which I'm sure Mr. LaForest already got, that includes timelines, resources, risk management, and all sorts of other things to make sure this thing goes off without a hitch, so to speak. Now, the second thing in this, in the steps for migration is preparation. During this time of preparing, we're doing what we call data profiling and mapping. And this is to identify data sources and map them to the target system. From where they are, you map them, where they're going to go, how they're going to get there, what the timing is, all of that. It's the process of defining how data from one system is converted and then moved to another system. I think the tech pros always also call this source to target mapping, if any of you are familiar with that. We undergo data cleansing to remove any kind of redundant or obsolete data to make sure that all we have is good, relevant data, and that's what's being migrated in this secondary phase. The third thing that we do, the third step in this whole thing is execution, right? Doing it, actually doing the migration. In the execution phase of this, we transform data by converting it to whatever format the target system requires. Now, before we actually get to the nut and bolts of that, we do what's called a test migration process. You may have heard Mr. Mufara talk about how many times we'll do a test and then we'll let something loose and then they test it again, then they scale it, and then it's back to the drawing board. Well, doing a test migration process means that we're doing a trial run, right, that helps to identify and resolve any issues that we may have or that we might be able to foresee potentially in the real thing, because we want things to go wrong in the test. We don't want it to go wrong in the live run. When we're actually doing the actual migration, that's not the time to have things pop up. So we also do a data migration run, right? I mean, after the test run, we'll actually run the actual migration process, and we make sure at the same time that we're monitoring it very closely using some of the things that we just talked about a few minutes ago to make sure that things aren't going wrong and things are going the way we want to, right? And then the last thing in the whole series or the whole process is what we call post-migration or after migration activity, right? And this includes validation and testing, during which we verify again the integrity and the accuracy of the data that we've now got. So we tested it before we moved it, we tested it during the move, and now it's sitting in the brand new home, and we're testing it again to make sure that we haven't lost something or corrupted something or done something to the data, right? And during this step, if that data passes our integrity checks, then we go into what we call optimization, which is a fancy word for saying, hey, we're going to fine tune this system to make sure that we get the best performance we possibly can. Now, throughout the entire process, everything gets completely and thoroughly documented. Yeah, takes time, right? You've heard, hey, it ain't work, the job ain't done until the paperwork's done. This is document, document, document. The entire migration process is documented for future reference and compliance. So you're probably wondering, wow, there's a whole lot of stuff going on. I thought we were going to be out of here in 3 weeks. How long is it actually going to take for ONPASSIVE? Well, I don't know. Ash is full of surprises, and he might pull this thing off in record time. But in a general sense, during the migration of data, right, the process can vary on different factors. One of them is the volume of data. The larger the volumes of data, right, the more typically it takes to transfer it. Makes sense. The more you have, the more you got to check, the more you got to do everything. Complexity. How complex is our data, right? Complex data structures and dependencies. Remember, I talked about dependencies a little bit earlier. They can extend the migration time. Now, data dependencies are their relationships between instructions or operations in programs where the ability of that program to do its job is dependent on another system or program doing something first or concurrently with that. And I know that's a little confusing, but they rely on each other, and one can't do something without the other one doing something first, in a sense, right? And as you can imagine, ONPASSIVE is huge. It's got lots and lots of programs talking to lots of other programs, the tools, the marketing, the automation, the financials. I mean, walla, tons of stuff, right? Now, there's another thing we look at that can take time or and that's what resources have we got? What resources do we have or not have, right? Hardware, skilled personnel. We've heard him say, hey, we are down to bare bones. We've gotten rid of a lot of our tech, a lot of our special, higher ups or whatever. We're running with less personnel, so he may need to find people that are specifically trained in data migration to make, and it wouldn't surprise me that he does. I mean, he likes to do things right? And he likes to do them well. So you're always looking at, do we have the skilled personnel? What about the tools we're going to be using? Do we have those? Are emerging technologies coming out? Are there conflicts? All of these things that we've just talked about can impact the speed of our migration, how long it's going to take for us to go from where we are to where we want to be. So typically, migration can take anywhere from a few days to several months. But think about ONPASSIVE for just a minute, right? Most companies have an infrastructure, digitally speaking, that is suitable to handle 1, 2, 3 products or platforms at most. ONPASSIVE's huge. We know we've already got a half dozen or so products, right? The products that we know are ready to go, right along with the ecosystem and everything that it's got bolted to, in a sense, is ready to go live. And we know that there are huge marketing platforms. There's financial platforms also attached to it. And then we have all the other solutions, the products, right, that we've developed. And of course, we've also got the AI within all of that. And all of these things are talking to each other, and they count on each other to do things. This is no small undertaking. I mean, that's absolutely massive. And everything we've got is automated. And that's just the things we know about. We know about all the other stuff that Mr. Mufar is working on. And every bit of that requires more data because we got to track it and take care of it somehow, right? So for ONPASSIVE, considering its scale and its data complexity, a timeline of several weeks to even a few months, in my opinion, that's what I'm expecting. I'm not expecting us to drop dead at the end of this month and life is hunky-dory, we're all making money. I just don't see that happening because I know Mr. Mufar is thorough and he is very complete in what he does. And he's already under the philosophy of once bitten, twice shy. So he is really dotting his I's and he's crossing his T's and he's making sure that what is done is being done right. And I'm not trying to, to scare anybody or disappoint anybody, but this is no small undertaking. And when we all group together and we kind of keep in the know and help each other process it and go along with it, life's going to be a lot easier for us individually and conglomerately, right? As a family of ONPASSIVE. Now, data migration is a critical process for ONPASSIVE. I mean, it is literally taking the business from one spot and moving it to another. And you know what's involved when you move from one house and you move it across the country to another house, and you have to pack and individually, you got to make sure things don't get broken. It's the same way with the migration. it's critical for us to make sure that we get our business up and running as quickly and smoothly as absolutely possible. Now, following a structured migration plan, which I know that Mr. Mufar has got in works, right? And leveraging all the right tools and making sure that we have all the proper expertise, the skilled expertise that we've got to have for this. These are all key to the success of the whole migration process. But still, we can rest assured by having all the original source codes and all the original data, right? Uncorrupted, ONPASSIVE can certainly achieve a very seamless transition that's going to allow minimal, if any, disruption at all once we get it up, running, and back in place. But it's going to take some time. And I'm just recommending, as we move into and we work through this process with ONPASSIVE, with Mr. Mufar in particular, that we stay in touch, we stay informed, we get engaged, and we participate in various social media events like this webinar, like the other ones we talk about, like 360, which normally runs on Wednesday afternoons. And then, of course, we've got Manu and Ron on Friday night, which that has been changed incidentally to Let's Celebrate, which is phenomenal in my opinion. And it's my understanding that Mr. Mufar weighed in on that and actually came up with the new name to better reflect the platform's goal of providing a safe place for members to focus on positivity and progress, to embrace our hope, to embrace each other, and to express gratitude as a means of enriching our community, our family, through all this positivity. There we go. Sorry about that. I had a brain bubble. So anyway, that's my whole talk. I hope you've enjoyed it. And I thank you so very, very much for allowing me to talk like this and just be here and spend some time with you. And I'm going to turn it back over to you folks. And let's just rock and roll. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Jeffrey. Jeannie, you help us manage. But thank you, Jeffrey, for helping us understand how complex and the mammoth task Mr. Ash Mufareh is going through, and managing all the people from a distance. Wow.
I can't imagine what that man's going through on a personal level in his brain from day to day. But think about this. When had you ever heard Mr. Mufar tell us everything that's going on? He usually shields us from a lot of the stuff that's going on. My guess is he's shielding us from what all that massivity and that process is really about. But you know what? I have no doubt we will come through this and we will be better for it.
I'm sure he was so disappointed and so discouraged, but yet he has to pick himself up and picking all the pieces and putting it together and not giving up and see what else he can put back together. And wow, it's fantastic that this man is our leader and he's leading us. And every time he come on the meetings, he's so composed. He's still so gentle. Oh my goodness. What a man. As Kumaran says, right, Kumaran, you were telling Julie, he's in a very raw way. He's not a man, not someone that we can understand or to describe, So let's move on to John and then Dr. T for their comment.
Thank you, Mabel. I never have much to say, but I definitely want to say, now we might think, why is Jeffrey going through all of this technical stuff? And here's the thing. Jeffrey is giving you a very positive outlook about stuff that has happened. I say the word stuff, that's not too technical, but the thing is that very serious things went on. And what has happened? Well, now That's been taken. It's not completely finished, but it's being taken care of. And that's the message that Ashman Farr has been giving us recently, which has excited a lot of people, especially the most recent information we've gotten from him. But here's the thing. Jeffrey has noticed, and I've noticed, and some other people, how excited people are, some to an extent where it's like, calm down. It's very good news. Things are happening. But what Jeffrey said is it doesn't mean that at the end of this month you can start peeling the apples, or the apples, are here and they're dropping all over us. And it means take your time, be happy that things are being saved with what's going on with the migration, and all this information is being moved from one data center to another. This is all serious stuff that takes time. Just like Jeffrey just said, I don't need to go on about it.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying to you, and I know there are people that need to be told, this is what I feel in the last few days. Relax, calm down. Don't put things in these chats and all over the place that sounds like we're spending our money. Or don't spend your money too soon, because it's not here quite yet. And just be a little bit patient. We still have some time to wait. Might be more than just a week or so. And that's it. That's the fact. That's all I have to say. Just be aware of that.
Yeah.
If you're one of the folks that are a little bit too excited, take a deep breath and relax and be happy we are where we are. We're in a good place. Stuff is happening. That's it. Thank you.
John, when you say peel the apple, I was thinking of apple juice. Wow, concentrated. Thank you. Dr. T?
Yes. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. I really appreciate you. I guess the thing that I appreciate the most is that you're not coming to us from the angle of giving us secondhand news. You have a relationship with this man. You're on the front line with Mr. Ashman Farr, and that's what makes me so happy. You're giving us the information because you know about it firsthand. It's not like me reading it in the back office that I'm conveying it to you. It's not like that. You are there. You're in the trenches with this man. You know his heart. You get a chance to talk to him, and I don't even know if you get a chance to even see him from time to time. I don't know if you do that, but I know that you know this man. And I'm not really a technically savvy person, or I'm not really all into AI. I'm just getting used to the whole concept of AI, but I appreciate that. And I want you to know, Jeffrey, I sense that you are a spiritual man, and I want you to know that I pray for Mr. Ashman Farr, his family, and his team. And I'm sorry that all of these things happen, but you know that the enemy is not going to just hand you success. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a challenge. Either he's going to get you through your wallet, he's going to get you through your emotions, or he's going to get you through your family or whatever. He's going to try and push all the buttons to discourage us from doing what God has mandated for us to do. And so I just want to encourage all of us on this webinar, get busy. One of the things I'm doing, I'm not worried about what ONPASSIVE is doing. I'm not. I'm staying busy doing what I know that God has called me to do. God did not call me, Tanisha Ann Ford, to run ONPASSIVE. So I'm not trying to run ONPASSIVE. I'm trying to do what God has called me to do. Speaking, running my 501c3, my nonprofit organization, keeping things in line, doing my step-up program. We're planning a major event coming up in October. That's what I'm concentrating on. I'm not concentrating on, ONPASSIVE hasn't started yet. Oh, what are they doing? It's a scam. Oh my God. I don't even have time for all of that. I don't have time for all of that. So Jeffrey, you confirmed that we're okay. And I believe you. I trust you. I trust Mr. Ashman Farr, and I trust ONPASSIVE. And I know that everything is going to be all right. And God bless you, and God bless you for bringing us this message. And I just want to let you know that I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If I can, Mabel, I want to kind of interject here for clarification, a disclaimer of sorts. I've had a lot of people send me stuff. Hey, will you make sure Mr. Mufar knows this? Mr. Mufar and I, we do not talk personally very often at all. A lot of what I get from Mr. Mufar's talks and information from 360 and those sorts of things, I will extrapolate because I know, you're right, I know Mr. Mufar and I know how he operates. And but I also know a lot of other things. And one of the things that I do know is about the complexity of data migration and all of the technical stuff. Now, I wouldn't have known, had it not been for Mr. Mufara, I would not have started learning this stuff 2 years ago. I wouldn't have. So if you think that I have a hotline or a bat phone to Mr. Mufara, I don't. He talks primarily through 360, and he also frequents Friday Night Live, or what used to be previously Friday Night Live, now Let's Celebrate. And whenever he's on, I will, like I was telling Mabel earlier, sometimes I'll slow him way down and I will try reading between the lines and putting that with what I know about the man and what I know about the topic. And but I have no doubt when I come on a platform like this, what I'm saying, I know it in my heart to be true. So, but I thank you. I thank you so much. But I just want folks to know that I don't talk to him on a regular basis. You know, I don't go play golf with him or anything like that at all. And you also,
you need to start, Jeffrey. What's the problem? You need to start. Get on the phone.
I don't have time for all that.
Ash got no time.
Yeah.
Hey, but you know the guy. You know the guys. Yeah, go ahead.
Yep. You also mentioned, you talked about, well, for lack of a better phrase, talk about the devil getting in our stuff. You know, scripturally speaking, it says that we don't wage against man. We wage against powers and principalities. And that is exactly what happened within ONPASSIVE when you had this evil influence, this very bad actor influence come into these people and just fill them with greed and all sorts of stuff. And they did a lot of damage. So I agree with that, but we're on the mend. And John, I appreciate so much what you said. You had me laughing, but buddy, you were spot on. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. But Jeffrey, you know the people who know him. How about that? So you're still on the front line. You know the men who know the man.
That is absolutely, that is accurate. That is accurate. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I knew it was close. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. Thank you.
Jeannie, is it Sushanta, Jeannie?
Yes, thank you, Brother Jeffrey and Dr. Tunishai. Thank you. All right, we have Brother Sushanta. Your hand is up. Are you ready to speak?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you, Jeannie. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Wow, what a great presentation by our mentor, our elder brother, Jeffrey Morlock. He is an IT engineer, we can say, data scientist, a singer too. So he is all in one. How he explained, I think I don't need any more explanation how data migration is. Data migration is a complex thing. We know we are not, we actually don't know how to migrate data. We just know, we listen to it, but many people that ONPASSIVE is migrating data from one server, one data center to another data center. But we don't know how complex things ONPASSIVE is going to do. It is not so easy. It's a very complex things. But we don't need to understand how ONPASSIVE is doing. ONPASSIVE is migrating data from one data center to another center. But one thing we can be assured from our CEO, Mr. Ash Mufara, that all of our data is recovered with source code. So we all are fine. We all are safe. We all are in the good position. For any IT company, I should say that data is the wealth of any IT companies. Data is their main property. So if we can save the data, definitely we would be able to make a good business by accumulating all those data. So it's a great task how ONPASSIVE is doing that. Mr. CEO, our CEO is Ash Mufara, and his team only know that. And it is so complex things that cannot confirm any time limitation, that how long it will take. It may take some few weeks, days, or months. There is no time limitations, and only those people who are involved within this process, they also can't say that how long it will take. And we should understand that actually the data we are transforming from one data center to another data center, both data centers are not owned by ONPASSIVE. Another data center is owned by another company, and we have another data center. So we have to manage, that is the downtime for both cases should be matched. So it is quite tough to say exact time. So, but we are very happy that all of our data, all of our informations are safe, and I'm sure that our CEO has said that we are gonna have our website and OES very soon. As he mentioned that we may got it by this month, but I'm not sure. But once it will be available, definitely we'll enjoy that. Thank you. Thank you so much again, Zetri Morlock, for your nice and informative information over to Mabel or Genies. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, brother
Thank you.
Shanta. Thank you. All right. We have Sister Antoinette. Sister Antoinette, over to you.
Great presentation, great information, Mr. Jeffrey, and appreciate you breaking it down and everything. And I could relate. I had more than 20 years in IT and computer operations, and I used to be a programmer for Burroughs before they became Unisys. And so I helped develop a lot of utilities and stuff like that. And with BASF, there came a time one year that one of their plants was almost blown up. And we had to move the data center from there to another location. So from Cincinnati to Greenville, Ohio. And I was a part of that. We had to download all the data from out of the computer, move the computer and the data to Greenville, upload the data, and then we had, because it was such a traumatic experience for the computer operations team, they quit. So I had to go to Greenville, Ohio, and train 4 accountants on the computer operations and do the manuals and the whole kit and caboodle. And it took me a total of 2 years.
Wow.
So around that time, I bought a house and didn't live in it for 2 years.
Wow.
And
Antoinette, can I ask you a
and it
question?
made the papers. The explosion made the papers because a lot of homes, it went upward, fortunately. And it shook a lot of foundations in the area for 6 blocks, blew
Wow.
out windows and everything. And if it had gone out, it would have just been a crater, a crater.
Wow.
And so
Antoinette, can I ask you
thankfully,
some questions?
pardon me?
Can I ask you, you're in a unique position. I want to pick your brain. Is that all right?
Sure.
Okay. Now you heard everything that I just said, and you're a living example of this. Was I close with what I was saying about the process, and what was your experience with the process? And I don't want people to miss the fact you said you hired accountants. I didn't even think about accountants. I mean, you think what does accountants have to do with data, but there's so many things that we don't know about that's in this. And if you could speak to that, that'll help us understand more just what a magnificent CEO we really got.
Look, there was a utility called Candy, and I helped develop it with another team. And Candy, I don't know if that utility is still being used, but it gave you the capability of actually going into a data file and repairing the data. And that can take a lot of time because the data, the programming language is an entirely different animal, but the data itself is like raw data. And so you have to know where everything is, what values, if it's an address, what area or where the location of that address is in the file in order to make the corrections. And so it takes a lot of time. I mean, a lot of time. And even going in and checking those files to make sure they're not damaged, it's time grueling. You know, you have to gear your mind up and say, okay, here's thousands and thousands and thousands of lines of raw data. And I have to go in and make sure what's on the books matches what's in the system. And then you move it. And when I was in the industry, that's the way we did it. And so a lot of times when I was transmitting files, we had checks and balances. And so if a file had an incorrect character in there, it would not move. And so then you had to go in and figure out where the heck is that error. And there were times in the computer room when I had to do that. My shift was an 8-hour shift, which turned into an 18-hour shift.
Wow.
Just for that reason. And I would be, I'm not even going to express. It was a lot of fun, but it took a lot of time. And so you're absolutely correct. And if they're still doing it the way that I used to do it, then of course it's going to take quite a bit of time. And then when you're talking about information for millions of people, imagine how many people Mr. Mufara had to use to go through that information. And so it's not an easy task. And what you were sharing, Jeffrey, I think that the intensity of it, what you shared, didn't give it as much justice as how much they would have to go through
Wow.
all of that information.
Well, you
It's
know, I did
incredible.
not want to scare anybody, but you're right, and it's good. It's good to hear you because I'm thinking to myself, the complexity and amount of data that OnPassive's got has literally got to be billions of lines of code. And we heard Mr.
It's
Mufara say we haven't lost a single line of code, and that was key to me. It was like,
that
damn,
was a miracle. That was
amen.
a miracle. When he made that comment, I'm like, wow, God had to have been in that because imagine a newspaper and you find out there's one character that's preventing you from putting out that newspaper, one character. So that means you have to go through pages and pages, and you have to look at every word on those pages because on you can take the word tree, and instead of TREE, it could be TR and paren sign, or TRE, and then some other character that's similar to an E. And if you don't really take your time, you'll miss it. You will miss it. And the reason why we used accountants to train is because they're used to looking for. Because I have an accounting background too, and there came a time when it took me almost an hour to figure out why a report was 3 cents off. 3 cents off. And that's a nightmare. It's easier to find $3 than 3 cents. And and it's stuff like that. And that's how data storage and manipulation, when you have to go into it, and especially data files, even programming files or reports are easier than that. That is like a nightmare. And if you have to literally have your mind geared to go through something that grueling. Yes. So yeah, that was God. That was God. To have been able to maintain that much data and not lose, because you can easily lose a letter or a symbol or whatever it is. You can easily, and it mess up everything. So that was God. He is definitely on our side.
Amen. Amen.
Amen to that. Amen to that. You're right.
Amen.
Hey, thank you so much, man. I am so glad that you brought that up and told us about the expertise you had, because that just kind of further solidifies our understanding of what's going on, and just we are really in some good shape.
Yeah. Well, before Dr. T and I joined ONPASSIVE, she shared once before that we were in a meeting with someone, and they were telling us all about ONPASSIVE. Well, while we were in the meeting, I went online and I started taking a look at the company, how long it was taking them to develop the programs and set it up and all of that. And I was going through the some of the videos, and I could see some of the programming that they were doing. And so I said, okay, this is legit, because I can see they're working with something. And I caught glimpses of some of the variables and things. And so I knew it was a for real thing, that they weren't just pulling our leg or anything. And then I came back and I let Dr. T know, okay, it's a go. This is legit.
Wow, that's powerful. Thank you for that.
Wow.
But yeah.
Wow. That's so encouraging, Sister Antoinette. Thank you for sharing that with us. And I'm sure all of us who's present here will be so empowered tonight. Yeah. And that really further solidify what Brother Jeffrey has been, sharing with us tonight, and also Brother Shanta. And we thank you so much for sharing so much with us, Sister Antoinette. We didn't know you are also the powerhouse behind all this.
Programmer.
Programmer, wow. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us. And maybe
You're
the
very
next time we'll
welcome.
call you to share the expertise with us. Yeah. Okay, so next we have Brother Victor. Your hand is up, Brother Victor. Over to you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for giving me a few moments. I want to say good day, good morning, good afternoon, good everything to each and every one of us here. And I want to say thank you, Jeffrey, for letting us know that in a simple way, all of the complexities that are involved in the migration process. And Antoinette, you have blown me away again, because you've taken, let me put it this way: men read headlines and women read details. So Jeffrey gave us the headlines and you broke it down into the details. And I said, my God, what on earth is this woman saying? And it makes me appreciate all the more what Mr. Mufara has done. Not only in bearing the weight of all of this, but actually opening the doors so that we can all experience it in one way or another. And I believe that the majority of people who are part of ONPASSIVE would have no clue as to what we've just spoken about. The majority have no clue. And we don't have any right to know, because in other organizations, it would be going on the underground. Things would be happening, and there would be no explanations. We'd have to put up and shut up. But Mr. Mafara has opened its door and opened his heart and let us in. And he's got trustworthy people like Jeffrey, like Chris, like Marty, he's got trusted people all around the globe who are able to now give small reports on what he has done. And so the information is spread over the whole community of ONPASSIVE, which is 1.4 million of us. We don't have any rights. We are in it. We are in it to win it. And that's what he's told us. And that should be suffice, because every day he has brought information to us, letting us know that he's not running away. He's still there. There are hiccups that have come. He's overcoming the hiccups. If he just said that alone, we should be satisfied. But he's gone beyond that, and he's broken it down. And I don't think anyone who has $97 worth of investment in another organization would be privy to this kind of information that we have. It is impossible. It would never have happened. So, Jeffrey, again, I thank you for being a headline that has now given us the ammunition that we can use within our other small groupings and let them know that this is what is going on, using the information that you've just given us in a manner that they would understand. And I appreciate that. And again, Antoinette, you with the detail, you have really uplifted us, and I appreciate you too. And again, I'd like to say I appreciate all of you who have put this particular webinar together. This group, the OPassion is a group that I believe everyone should be a part of, because it's such a source of information. It's wonderful. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Brother Victor. Thank you so much. Okay, I see Sister Debbie here. Sister Debbie, would you like to say a few words to us if it's convenient? And then after that, I'll pass to Brother Kumaran, who has
I
something
think
for us.
after Debbie, Camila also put up a hand. Camila raised her hand.
Camila?
Yeah.
I didn't see the hand. Oh, okay. Sure. Sister Debbie?
Hello, everyone. Oh,
Yeah, after Debbie. Debbie, you go ahead, then Camila.
good morning, everyone. Brother Jeffrey, thank you so much for that lovely. I have to personally reach out to you so I can get all your songs and I play them every day. I know the lyrics are geared towards ONPASSIVE, but just the tempo, the music itself is very unique, and the voices are well blended. Thank you. And your message today is just straight to the point. I appreciate it very much, and thank you for doing what you do to support OPassion as one of us. It's just an amazing thing. I'm sorry, I didn't look too good, so that's why I had to close my photo. So I'm sorry. I had so much going on. I should present myself, especially when I'm talking to my brothers and sisters. I should present myself in a good manner. So when my camera is off, always leave it off. Thank you so much, and keep supporting us and keep blessing us with your wonderful, kind words. Thank you, Sister Jeannie. I'm waiting to see you soon.
Thank you, Sister
All right,
Debbie.
back to Sister Jeannie.
Yeah, love you.
Debbie, you have a heart of gold.
Yeah, you take care.
Thank you,
Sister Debbie. Yeah, thank you. Okay, Sister Camelia.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, yes.
How are you? I would like to thank Jeffrey for your info, and I want to say something. I was used to work in municipality, and we had to move our data to a cloud, and it's only for 5,000 people. not a 1,000,004.4. And it took us more than a week just to move to a cloud. And I know it by myself, and it was maybe 10 years ago. So I know it's a hard job, and it's a very complicated, and we have to give our loyalty to Ashmufara and to be with him and to let him know that we are behind him and we know that he's doing his best. That's it's my comment to what you are saying.
Thank you, Sister Camelia, for also giving us another booster. Thank you so much. All right. All right. There's nobody else. I'd like to call Kumaran. And then after that, Mabel, we'll pass it back to you. And then Brother Jeffrey will do the closing.
Thank you, Sister Jenny.
Yeah.
Brother Jeffrey, Sister Debbie forgot to tell you, you nail it. So I got a chance to use
say
that
it.
word. Yes, wonderful sharing. I just want to add in, since let our CEO do the data merging and let him do, but our side, are we doing protect our data? The main data we have is our Gmail, right? Because that the one we use to log in. So there's a plan B, there's a plan C, and there's a plan A. Okay, what happens if when our system comes on and our CEO say login? So do we our password? If everything plan A, then we can use our omail.ai. We can log in. Let's say plan B. Our CEO says, okay, all go back to your Gmail. There's one mail will be coming in. Go and check and reset the password. So our Gmail, if we can log in, then it's okay, safe. But then if let's say we forgot the password or we change the computer, we somewhere, and you have to go and log in again on your Gmail. That's very important. So what happens if you can't log in? Then you have to go and forget your password, right? Then to forget your password, to recover, you must have your, the alternative
recovery
recovery Gmail or Yahoo or anything, or your handphone number. So all these updated, you save your data, everything. So this is the time for us to go. We have 22% here. Please take care. Go and remind all your brothers and sisters, your founders. Go, if you have more than one account, have to do the homework, everything. And I have already shared a piece of, the one to recover, to write back manually. So that's all. And the second message is Brother Victor around. This is last week, Football Premier League. Manchester United 0, Liverpool 3.
Somebody mute him. Mute him. He's not allowed to speak football. Put him on mute. Oh my God.
Oh my God. That's what makes this a wonderful family. Brothers are talking. Brothers are talking. Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you, Brother Kumaran.
Kumaran, you scare us with all our personal data.
Because this one we have got experience. Remember, I'm sure Brother Jeffrey knows what happened to Papua New Guinea. About more than about 500 founders. They
lost their Gmail.
Phone numbers. Phone number they can't recover. So all messy. Lucky our CEO was
compassionate.
he managed to change manually by the support from the support side. But I don't think now when the system comes out, everybody will be busy. The Hyderabad will be busy. We can't be telling them to go in my password. All this is messy, right? I will shut down my phone number.
Okay, thank you, Kumaran.
Thank you, Kumaran. You're a great guy. although
Jeffrey,
you spoke a
I'm
lot
going
of
to
things.
play the song, which is called
Is Jeffrey not going to speak to us?
yes, he's going
Yes,
to.
you will.
I'm
Oh,
going to
okay.
play, Jeffrey, the agenda is I'm going to play the song on Passive the Beautiful. Then you will give us your final words. And before I play the song, is that, when I say it's a marathon, uh, a lot is talking about the migration and the waiting compared to eternity, compared to compared to the journey of good causes that we're going to do. This is a short time. The waiting, the migration is a short time. So the marathon is actually the beginning and the process of all the good causes that we're going to do. So that is the long haul. That is the marathon. So meanwhile, Mr. Ash Mufara is the one doing all the work. And Kumaran said we must remember our Gmail. I would say even right now, we need to continue to grow our mindset to handle the long haul, to handle all the good causes that Mr. Ash Mufara is going to empower us to do. So let me share screen, play the song, and then Brother Jeff, you will give us your final words for the night and continue to empower us. Let me share screen. The sound is on. I believe this is the one. Ready?
Incidentally, the graphics here were done by Bill Musk.
Easy going, as gentle as the breeze. Unpassive now will show you how to move your life with ease. We'll grow in grace to run the race, to seed our members' dreams. While value grows, abundance flows in everlasting streams. How wonderfully the borders fade to bridge the mighty seas, where culture blends have made new friends and spreads our love with ease. Our truth is real and we can feel the benefit for all. No limits here, we have no fear, and we are standing tall. How beautiful, how full of love, compassion overflows to share the things unpassive brings, till everybody knows. Unpassive's here, unpassive's here, to set the captive free. We fill the heart and do our part to lift humanity.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Fantastic. Jeffrey, is that the right video? It's correct, right?
Oh yeah.
Beautiful,
Oh yeah.
Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
The lyrics
when
is
I-
there. It's beautiful.
Beautiful. Mm.
When I put that out, Bill Musk actually asked me if he could put some graphics. So he's the one that put the graphics in there.
Ah, fantastic. I'm glad I
Yeah,
got
he's a great guy.
the version. Okay. Jeffrey.
What would you like me to say? We're in great shape, folks. We've got a CEO that is just on top. And I've never seen Mr. Mufara get rocked. Like he was rocked on a video where he was talking to the Texan, I believe it was in Hyderabad, about the potential of losing data. And if you saw the look come over his face, because he understood, oh my goodness, if we don't have our data, I mean, that's 6 years of data, 5 years of data, or 4 at least. I mean, these guys have been working a long time developing from scratch. I mean, that's databases, that's tools, that's products, that's everything. And when he thought about the potentiality, he had a look over his face that just, I mean, you could see he was rocked. And I have not seen him rocked at all, ever. You know, he is just always stable and rock solid. But that was something that put the fear of God in him, I thought. So I'm so grateful that he made sure that that was not the case. We are in excellent shape. And I liked what Antoinette was saying too, because she was talking about how many lines of code. We literally, I believe, in ONPASSIVE have billions of lines of code. And a lot of those, you know, people got to go line by line to find a problem. And he said, we've got every line. We've got every jot and tittle, if you want to put it that way. We got everything, all of it. And we're in good shape. It's just going to take us time to get where we want to go. But we're well on the way. We're well in hand. So please reach out to the webinars. Reach out to the folks that, you know, if you looked at that video that I did that talked about all the webinars and how the information comes from Ash. And generally, I mean, he might show up on one-offs on occasion, but generally it's either Friday night or 360. And the information comes from them and kind of trickles out to all the rest of us. And if we just get plugged into one of those, then we'll be able to keep a good mindset and keep in the know and stay engaged. And that's going to help us long term to really enjoy what we're doing. So thank you so much. I really appreciate being here.